Cam Fowler is a St. Louis Blue.
Hey, this is Brayden Chen.
Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about that Cam Fowler trade to St. Louis from Anaheim, the loss to the Sharks, and then the Dallas overtime loss. I know the Blues beat the Rangers, which is awesome. I'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode, but we just have so much to talk about today that I couldn't fit it all in. As I said, we have a jam-packed episode of Locked On Blues today. And today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. I have to tell you, folks, it has been a crazy weekend for the Blues, not only with the results of the games, but with a move that was made, and that was the trade for Cam Fowler. So you might be wondering, Hale, what exactly happened on Saturday? And I want to say it was around 10 a.m. our time in Central. The Blues acquired defenseman Cam Fowler from Anaheim, with draft picks being swapped and then a minor league player heading out to Orange County. So the player that they got rid of, nobody significant. Anywho, the Blues are getting, and he is 33, but they're getting a quality veteran blue liner, right? In my head, at least, this kind of seems like somebody that's a Torrey Krug sort of replacement. And he does have 1 year left of his contract. His contract was 8 years at Anaheim. He's on year 7. So again, it was one of those situations where we heard about it, and I kind of figured that the Blues were going to do something with their defense, because I personally just not think that it was good enough. And we saw that obviously with the results of the Sharks game. But I am actually happy about having him on the Blues. So the Blues ended up sending Matthew Kessel down to the T-Birds, which I was not surprised about. However, a part of me was a little bit, because Perunovich is still here. But I'm telling you, and I thought this too before the news got released, when there, like before a trade is finalized, like you kind of hear that there's talks and all the insiders are posting about it. I really thought that Perunovich was going to go to Anaheim. I did. I thought that was the player that they were going to be getting. But clearly it wasn't. But I think this is a really good thing for the Blues, because right now, he has 1 year left of his contract. So in my head, I'm like, okay, you know what? They could use him, and he has a lot to offer. However, I don't really think that it's going to make the biggest difference, so to say. The Blues need to get younger. I think having a lot of older players is not a good thing. I think that Anaheim didn't really get much out of it. But at the end of the day, I think that this was a solid trade that was made. And I think that from the Blues perspective, right, you just have to think about the fact that Torrey Krug is out. And right now, this is kind of how you keep this team competitive. I think that's something that Doug Armstrong would want to do for the Blues, because where they're at, it could go either way, right? They could get a really good draft pick if they continue to play poor hockey, or you play good hockey and you get a high draft pick. So that is something that I think about, at least. And I think that right now the expectations with the Blues are kind of low. I don't think a lot of us in the fan base are expecting them to do anything significant. And I think that's where my frustration is. But the Blues at least can use Fowler as a weapon, as somebody that can bring in a lot of experience. He plays well and he's stabilized, right? So again, not bad in a sense, right? But I think with the Blues, though, he was playing about 21 minutes a night. I'm looking at his statistics for the Ducks, right? And last season was about 24 minutes. And I get it. As I said, I understand he may not be the most prominent on the ice, but at the same time, I think that he still has great skating ability and he can keep up. He does have a lot of speed, even at the age of 33. The Ducks do retain, by the way, $2.5 million of his contract. So they do get him for an affordable price, the $4 million. So it's really not that bad. As I said, it creates better results for this team as a whole. And I think that Anaheim just wanted to get younger. I don't think that the Ducks are in a position where they want to, keep some of the older players. I think that they know what they need to do for their own team, their own organization. I think that the Blues, and I'm not saying that, this is go big or go home this year, because it's not. You still have a lot of, good prospects, right, in the system that can do great things for the organization. However, I think that it just wouldn't make sense for the Blues not to try to be somewhat competitive this season. It's interesting. So when Fowler came over, he spoke to the media. And he said that it's really soaking in for him and it's hitting him what's happening because his family, like, they live in Anaheim. Like, he has a 2.5-year-old child that lives in Anaheim. His wife's pregnant. Anaheim. That's where his life is. And he was with the Ducks for 14 years. So it was a long time. He's just shy, by the way, too, of hitting his 1,000th NHL game. Which, gosh, here's like the empathetic part in my head. I feel badly because I know that it was so close to him to hit 1,000 games. However, I think that at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, he'll still get that milestone, and it just will be here in St. Louis instead than in Anaheim. But I do feel good things about him. And, it's crazy because, as I said, what the Blues get, they also get a 4th round pick in the 2027 draft. No one cares about that. Like, no offense, but like, nobody cares about that. And not for nothing, I'm at 15, not 14 years. And he was like the 12th overall draft pick, like, back in the day. So, I mean, like, that's cool. But it is funny, though. Like, at the end of the day, I can't help but laugh. I can't, because it's the typical Blues moves. Like, they made great moves this summer with getting, Holloway, Broberg, who am I missing? Who is the one player that they keep on healthy scratching? Wait, hold on. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to think about it because they keep on scratching him. As soon as I paused, it was P.O. Joseph, and then they got Matthew Joseph, and then they got Texier. So, they did get a good amount of guys that are younger, right? I don't know why I was like tweaking for a second. I was like, I know who this is. I just couldn't say it. But as I said, Fowler is going to, serve the Blues well. And I am excited about him. I really am. I think that he has a lot that he can offer. It's so funny. Like, when you just think about someone's career, right? And you think about what they've accomplished and what they've done. And, right now, he is a St. Louis Blue, which is kind of crazy, right? I mean, this season, has it been the best for him? No, but he's played 2 games here in St. Louis, so that's good. It's so weird, like, when you look at someone's stats, like, of all their seasons, and it's like, you know, I know that it's now at 993, but when he got traded, it was at 991 games of him as an Anaheim Duck. He's had 96 goals in his career. He's had 361 assists, huge with the assists. So again, that is a positive. It's just so, so weird to me when you look at someone's statistics and it's like Anaheim since 2010, 2011. So, it's one of those things where I do feel like the Blues are getting a lot of good from him, money's low and it's nice and all, but it's very weird, like looking at his statistics, as I was saying prior, and just hitting that. But character-wise, he's a nice guy. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about him when he was with the Ducks. And, there are certain players that have been in the league for a while, and you just always hear positive things about him. I feel like he was one of those players. So I'm happy for him, hopefully, here in St. Louis. I know he's played a couple of games. We'll talk about that. But I'm hoping that he adjusts fully. I know that a lot of adrenaline, as he said, it's still settling in. So hopefully, once that settles, he feels really good about wearing the blue note. And he wanted to be here, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that he did waive his his clauses because he wanted to come over here, and he kind of had a feeling because over the summer he was hearing some talks, not necessarily with the Blues. I know the Canucks were another team that was kind of eyeing him, but just the fact that he may not stay in Anaheim. You know what I want to talk to you about? My friends over at Gametime, obviously. I love Gametime because Gametime is focused on togetherness this holiday season. That means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better, and it's the perfect gift. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have the super deal, and it's so amazing because it stands out and it has the best price and everything curated to exactly what you need. Okay. So besides that, they also have seat views, so you can see exactly where you're sitting before you buy the ticket, which makes it so easy. And then the lowest price guarantee. So here's another thing about Gametime, okay? They have all in pricing. All in pricing. That is right. You can see the fees along with the ticket price at once, so you're not being tricked at all. As I said, the lowest price guarantee is what Gametime is known for. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime this holiday season. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. Yep. Yep, you already know. The Blues lost to the Sharks, and all I can say is Celebrini is so good at playing hockey. I kind of jokingly said in the last episode that I did, I said, Hale, I have a feeling. I have a feeling that San Jose might win. And it just happened to be the score that I predicted the Blues to win. I said the Blues were going to win 4-3. Sharks won 4-3. Obviously, Celebrini is a really good hockey player. No doubt about that whatsoever. I am not dismissing the fact that that kid can play hockey, but he gets 3 points on the night for Malcolm Celebrini. So in the first period, by the way, I'm watching this game. I'm just going to break it down for you. Okay. I am watching this. And in my head, for whatever reason, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I was being too negative. Maybe I was being too doubtful. I remember exactly what I was doing. Okay. And I have to tell you, I really did feel positive about it. I really did. And it just was, oh my goodness. Okay. I'm not going to be negative. I'm not. However, I'm just going to continue on because I'll explain why. I am trusting Jordan Binnington. I am trusting that he's going to hold it down. It's going to be okay. And you know what? That ends up not being the case. You know why that wasn't the case? Because Tyler Toffoli was able to get the first goal of the game for San Jose with Celebrini giving him the feed. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. Like, I'm not saying whatever, but I was like, it is what it is. And then Jake Neighbors scores. So I'm tweeting. I'm like, Jake Neighbors. Like, I'm tweeting it on Locked On Blues, right? 1-1. Nice little wrist shot. Okay. assisted by Suter, Parayko. Like, we're good. Second period. Guess what? Celebrini. Oh. And then guess what? On the power play, Celebrini. So now San Jose is leading 3-1. And you might be wondering, Hale, how are you doing? I was down bad. I stopped tweeting. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, I know all of San Jose is laughing at us. Like, Celebrini is really good, and he really did carry the team on his entire back. Third period, Captain Braden Shen scores, right? I'm happy. It was a nice snapshot. Love that. Then Jake Wallman scores for the Sharks. No, Celebrini was not involved in that goal in any way. And then finally, Jordan Kyrou scored his 11th goal of the season. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's chance. Maybe there's hope. Nope, none was left. And the Sharks won in regulation. So San Jose did just that. But it was really crazy to me because I think as a Blues fan, right? And this is something that I kind of just noticed observing this team for a while and being a fan of this team, is that when it's the San Jose Sharks, you really just have to expect the worst possible thing. And I was a little bit annoyed with the team, okay? Because with Kyrou scoring, like, there was still time on the clock left. They had about 12 minutes left. Like, they had a good amount of time left. So in my head, I'm trying to justify. I'm like, but they just couldn't get the job done. And it happens. It's just frustrating because and again, it goes with my whole point of last season, why I was so frustrated. Easy points that are being wasted. And I'm not saying beating any hockey team is easy, right? Because at the end of the day, you're still playing like different NHL teams. But it's more the fact that it was San Jose, who is a team that is not as good, but they're doing actually quite fine right now, the Sharks. I mean, not fine, like playoff fine, but fine as in, like, they're not playing awful hockey. I mean, they're still 7th in the Pacific, and they're a couple points behind the Kraken, but they have 27 points so far in the season, which isn't awful for what I thought they were going to be. So they continue to make moves, especially now that Blackwood's gone. It was one of those games that the Blues just couldn't get the job done. I'm going to talk to you about that Dallas overtime loss because that, yes, indeed, it does bother me, but I'm going to talk to you about my friends over at FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NHL. The L in the NHL stands for the Blues. No, I'm joking. No. The Sharks, I mean, not the Sharks. The Dallas game, they did deserve to lose that one. Like, I'm going to be very upfront with you and very honest with you. And I'm saying this because it's the truth. They did not deserve to win that game at all. It's so embarrassing to even talk about. It's bad. So Jordan Binnington, first off, is the reason why the Blues got a point. I just want to put that out there. Like, it was all Jay Bins. Continuing on. In the first period, Jordan Kyrou scored his 12th goal this season, making it 1-0 St. Louis. I'm like, let's go. We're on top. Not playing great hockey, but we still get the goal. Assisted by Robert Thomas and then Bushi. Second period, a couple minutes in, Jason Robertson scores a power play goal. Fed to him by Jamie Benn. Now it's tied 1-1. Okay, it happens. You know what happens? You know what happens? The Blues are unable to shoot the puck at all. Like, I am telling you, like, it was all Dallas. Like, it was all Dallas and Jordan Binnington. It was really, really bad. Matt Duche is able to give the Stars the win in OT, but it was awful. Like, bad. Like, Dallas had 37 shots on goal. The Blues had 16. Like, Jordan Binnington had to save 35 shots on goal. Okay. That is a lot. That is a lot for one game. Now, I know what you're thinking. Kale, was it really that bad? Yeah, it was. Now, it did highlight how good Jordan Binnington is, and I really do think that he is a phenomenal hockey player, and I'm not taking that away from him. But it just was so bad. And I know that there is disappointment with the Blues. Justin Falk said he played great. He stood on his head. We gave him a lot of work, too much work, and too many good chances. We had a good first period and we didn't follow it up. He kept us in. They were all over us. And the reason why we got the point is because of him. Yeah, that's exactly what I said, because he literally played phenomenal. Coach Montgomery said, I look at more of what we didn't do. We didn't do enough. We didn't get above pucks. We didn't hang on to pucks. We weren't getting on the right side of our checks, and it led to a lot of either odd man rushes or, unfortunately, us spending a lot of time in our defensive zone. So it was not a good game for the Blues whatsoever at all. Cam Fowler did have one shot on goal. He played about 17 minutes and 57 seconds in his debut of being a St. Louis Blue. So Saad was a healthy scratch, and Thomas, I mean, did he play great? No, but he extended his point streak with the assist on Kyer's goal. So overall, I would say it was pretty okay-ish. I know this is not in the notes, and I kind of wanted to briefly touch on this, which is why I went over really, really quickly about the game with the Stars, but the Blues did win 3-2 over the New York Rangers yesterday. So Bushi was able to get on the board, his 8th goal of the season, making it 1-0 in the first. The Blues were really dominating too in the first 2 frames. Kyrou ended up scoring his 13th of the season, making it 2-0. Thomas, unassisted, ended up scoring his 6th goal of the season, 3-0. Third period's when I got a little bit nervous. New York did score 2 goals. Luckily, and Hofer was in net, but luckily nothing else was able to come of that. But I'm like, do not blow this lead. I don't know if I do such a bad job of tweeting, like live tweeting as the games are happening. Oh no. Why are the Senators tweeting at me? Why are the Senate? Oh, okay. Oh, it's their awards. Here we go. Okay. I was like, why is the Locked On Senators tweeting at me? I log in. I'm like, all these notifications. But yeah. So the last tweet that I made on the account, by the way, just so you know, do not blow this lead. Like, that was the last tweet. I was freaking out. I'm watching this game and I'm like, it is the most Blues thing to happen. So that will do it for today's episode of Locked On Blues. There was some technical difficulties, which is why you got the short of me talking about Cam Fowler the other day. But it's the holiday time. Technology hates me, and I am happy because the Blues had another trade. I'm telling you, this team likes to stay in the headlines. And we have the Winter Classic, too. I'm so excited. Okay. I will talk to you tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.